So this is 2018 paper 2 question 4. So what we have here is we have the points A, which is 1, 8. And we have point B here, which is 9, 0. And they're the endpoints of a diameter of the circle W as shown in the diagram. So find the coordinates of the center W. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to find the middle. So if you're trying to find the middle, then you must be trying to find the midpoint. So that means that you're going to go to your formula tables and you're going to write down the midpoint formula. So that's add your x's, and that is half them, and then add your y's and half them as well. So then you just go and label each of your different coordinates. So you can see that this is x1 and this is y1 and this is x2 and this is y2. So all I'm going to do next is I'm going to sub them into my formula, and I have 1 plus 9 divided by 2, and then I'm going to have 8 plus 0 and divide that by 2. And when you find that midpoint, then that is your center. So 1 plus 9 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. 8 add 0 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. So that is your midpoint there, 5, 4, and 5, 4 makes it your center of your circle. Okay, so from our last question, we know that the center is 5, 4. I'm just going to put that in. So what they're asking me to do is find the length of the radius. So I'm going to use A, which is 1, 8, and I'm going to use the midpoint or the center, which is 5, 4. And what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to find the midpoint or the distance. Okay, so x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to use the distance formula, which is down as L for length in your formula tables. So x2 minus x1 to be squared plus y2 minus y1 to be squared. And it's just a case of subbing them in. So x2 is 5, take away 1 to be squared, plus y2, which is 4, take away 8 to be squared. So as a result, that gives you 5 take away 1 is 4, 4 squared is 16, and then 4 take away 8 is minus 4, and minus 4 to be squared is also 16. So that gives you the square root of 32. So it's asking you to write it in the form of P is to Q. So that means that you need to write it in third form. So when you simplify that on your calculator, it comes up as 4 root 2. Okay, and you can just write down that that's 4 root 2 units. You can press SD and find out what it is as a decimal, but it's not asking you that. It's asking you to write it in that format here. So that's what we are doing. Okay, so that's your answer there for part B. For part C then, what they're asking you to do here is to write down the equation of the circle. So from our last question, we should remember that the center was 5, 4. So 5, 4 was our center, and it's just a good habit to label that as H and K, remember? The next thing I'm going to do is go to my formula tables and write down the equation of the circle. So, sorry, that's x. So that is x minus h to be squared plus y minus k to be squared is equal to your radius squared. So then you just sub it in. So x remains the same. H comes from your center. And then y remains the same, k comes from your center as well. And then from the previous question we found out that it has a radius of the square root of 32. So I'm going to square that. And then you keep that as it is, so x minus 5 to be squared plus y minus 4 to be squared, and then you put root 32 into your calculator and when you square that, you'll just end up with 32. So that is the equation of your circle. The numbers in the brackets here should be opposite to what you have in your brackets here. So the plus 5 becomes a minus 5 in the equation, and the plus 4 becomes a minus 4. So that is meant to be a 4 there, by the way. Okay, and that is your final answer. So x minus 5 to be squared plus y minus 4 to be squared equals to 32. For your final question, so what you have here is you have the points A and B again, so still the same circle. So they're asking you to find the equation of the line that is the tangent to the circle at W. So what they're saying, a tangent to circle W at the center A. So remember, a tangent hits the line of a circle at a perpendicular angle, so you'll have a perpendicular angle created here as a result, and another one created here. So what we need to do in order to do this is, the first step is we need to find the slope of this tangent, but we don't have coordinates for this tangent, but we do for A to B. So as a result, we're going to find the slope of AB, because that will be perpendicular to the tangent. So I'm going to use the slope formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to use the points of 1, 8, which are x1 and y1. And I'm going to use 9 and 0, which are x2 and y2. So when I sub them in, then I have 0 minus 8 is equal to 9 minus 1. And when I put that into my calculator, I get minus 8 over 8. And your calculator will actually simplify that for you and give you a slope of minus 1. So that means that this A to B has a slope of minus 1. So that means that if minus 1 is a slope of A to B, then the perpendicular slope to minus 1 will be 1, and that will be used for the tangent. So what I'm going to do now is, because I'm trying to find the equation of the line of this tangent, is I'm going to use the equation of a line formula, which is y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to sub in as much as I can. So I know that the slope is 1 because it's perpendicular. So, and here y stays the same and x stays the same. Where you get your x1 and y1 from is from A, because that's the point where the tangent hits on the circle. So I'm going to use A as x1 and y1, as I said. So y minus 8 is equal to 1 times x minus 1. Okay, so they're the points that you're going to sub into your equation. So as you can see, the slope is a whole number, so there's no need to split the fraction. So I'm just going to keep the y minus 8 as it is, expand the bracket here, so 1 by x is x, 1 by minus 1 is minus 1. Remember, you always want to write it in this format here. So that means I have my x first, and it has to be positive. So I'm going to have x followed by y. So the y crosses the equal sign to become a minus y. And then you have minus 1 here already. The minus 8 crosses to become a plus 8, and always make it equal to 0. And then just simplify it. So x minus y minus 1 plus 8 is, is 7. And then that's equal to 0. So x minus y plus 7 is equal to 0. If you have minus x plus y minus 7 is equal to 0, they'll actually accept that as well in the exam.